Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going deep into the mind of Eric Schmidt, former Google CEO,
Sure.
to explore his take on the future of AI. He's someone who's been, right at the forefront of this technology. So his insights are, well, definitely worth unpacking. We got a lot to cover, everything from the potential of AI girlfriends and universal doctors
Yeah.
to the implications of China's recent AI surge. Get ready for a fascinating and maybe even a little bit unsettling look at what's coming.
Yeah, it is interesting. You'd expect someone like Schmidt to be all about AI's potential, which he is, but he's
Hmm.
also incredibly cautious. He doesn't shy away from highlighting the risks,
Yeah.
which is something we really need to pay attention to.
Right. And one of the things that really struck me was his stance on AI rights.
Yeah.
He flat out says machines shouldn't have equal rights to humans.
That's definitely a thought-provoking statement, and it goes deeper than just saying, robots shouldn't vote. Schmidt's concern is about how granting machines rights might change our relationship with them. He believes it could lead us to become overly reliant on AI, potentially hindering our own development and problem-solving abilities. Think about it. If you have a machine that can effortlessly solve every problem, would you even bother trying to figure things out yourself?
Yeah, it's almost like we'd be outsourcing our thinking, becoming passive consumers of solutions
Yeah,
instead of active problem solvers.
exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Schmidt takes us even further by suggesting that free speech, as we understand it, should remain a human right. He even questions the applicability of laws, like Section 230, which protects online platforms from being liable for content posted by their users. Imagine a world where AI systems are creating and disseminating information. Do platforms get a free pass, or do they bear some responsibility for what their AI puts out there?
It raises so many questions about how our current legal frameworks will need to adapt to this
Yeah.
rapidly evolving landscape. We're essentially trying to write the rule book
Yeah.
for a game that's constantly changing before we even fully understand the rules.
It's a complex challenge for sure, and it's one that we can't afford to ignore. Because if we don't get these rules right, the consequences could be pretty significant.
So on one hand, we have this potentially precarious legal and ethical landscape to navigate.
Yeah.
But on the other, Schmidt paints this picture of incredible abundance that AI could unlock. It's almost like he's saying, yes, there are risks, but the potential rewards are so huge that we can't afford to turn away.
And those rewards are pretty mind-blowing. Think about the impact on scientific research. AI could accelerate drug discovery, potentially leading to cures for diseases that are currently incurable. Or imagine how AI could revolutionize transportation, making it safer,
Yeah.
more efficient, and more accessible for everyone.
Look at every sector, every aspect of our lives
Yeah,
could be touched by this transformative technology.
precisely. And Schmidt doesn't just stop at tangible advancements. He envisions a future with universal doctors and universal educators powered by AI, making high-quality healthcare and education available to everyone, regardless of their location or socioeconomic status.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yep.
Because he's not just talking about incremental improvements. He's
Yeah.
talking about fundamentally reshaping access
Yeah.
to essential services. But of course, as we said earlier, potential for abundance
Yeah.
doesn't come without risks. And Schmidt is very clear about that.
Right. The same technology that could cure diseases could also be used to create new, more potent bioweapons. The advancements in AI that could make
Yeah.
our cities smarter and safer could also be exploited by malicious actors to launch devastating cyber attacks.
And the autonomous systems that could revolutionize warfare
Hmm.
could also malfunction or fall into the wrong hands, leading to unpredictable and potentially catastrophic consequences.
It's like this incredible power that we're unlocking, and we're still figuring out how to wield it responsibly. It reminds me of that old saying, fire is a good servant, but a bad master. That's a great analogy. And one of the areas where this power dynamic is becoming increasingly apparent is in the rise of AI companions, specifically these hyper-realistic AI girlfriends
Yeah.
that are starting to emerge.
Yeah, this is where things start to get
Yeah.
a little bit strange and maybe even a little bit unsettling. The idea of people forming deep emotional attachments
Mm.
to AI companions
Mhm.
is something that was once the realm of science fiction,
Mhm.
but it's increasingly becoming a reality.
And it raises some serious questions about the potential social and psychological impacts. What happens when people start to withdraw from real-life relationships in favor of these idealized, always available, perfectly tailored AI companions?
Right, are we risking a future
Yeah.
where people become so accustomed to interacting with perfect AI simulation
Mm.
that they lose the ability or even the desire to form meaningful connections with other human beings?
It's a concern that Schmidt definitely shares. He talks about the potential for increased loneliness, social isolation, and even extremism as people retreat further into these virtual worlds. And we need to consider the impact on younger generations who are growing up with this technology as a normal part of their lives.
Yeah, it's a whole new set of challenges for parents,
Yeah.
educators, and society as a whole. How do we prepare young people
Hmm.
for a world where the lines between real and virtual relationships are becoming increasingly blurred?
It's a question that we're only beginning to grapple with. And there are no easy answers, but it's a conversation that we need to have,
Yeah.
and we need to have it now.
Absolutely. And speaking of conversations we need to have, let's shift gears and talk about China. The U.S. has long been considered the leader in AI development, but China has been rapidly catching up, and they just made a move. That even caught Eric Schmidt by surprise.
Yeah, this is where the global landscape of AI starts to get really interesting. China just released 2 extremely powerful open source AI tools, one designed for complex problem solving, and the other a large language model that's comparable to, if not exceeding, some of the most advanced models
Yeah.
developed in the US.
And the fact that these tools are open source adds another layer of complexity. On one hand, it's great for fostering collaboration and accelerating innovation. But on the other hand, it means that these powerful tools are accessible to anyone, including those who might use them for malicious purposes.
It's that double-edged sword again, and it highlights the need for international cooperation and responsible AI development on a global scale. Because the reality is, AI is not bound by national borders, and the choices that one country makes can have ripple effects around the world.
So we've got this incredibly powerful technology with the potential to solve some of humanity's biggest challenges, but also the potential to create new and unprecedented risks. And we're still in the early stages of figuring out how to navigate this uncharted territory.
Oh, that's right. And to really understand the complexity of what we're dealing with, we need to delve into one of the most mind-bending concepts in the realm of AI, something called agentic behavior.
Now, I'll admit, this is where things start to get a little bit sci-fi for me. But from what I understand, agentic behavior is basically about AI systems acting autonomously, making their own decisions, and carrying out actions
Yes.
without direct human intervention.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just simple automation. We're talking about AI agents that can interact with each other, learn from their environment, and adapt their behavior to achieve complex goals.
So to use a concrete example,
Yeah.
imagine you're a construction company.
Yeah.
And you task an AI system with designing a new building
Yeah.
and handling all the paperwork. This AI agent could then independently coordinate with other AI agents, one that specializes in structural engineering, another that handles permitting and regulatory compliance, and yet another that manages the budget and negotiates with contractors. All of this happening seamlessly without any direct human involvement.
Yeah. That's a great example. And it illustrates the potential of agentic behavior to revolutionize entire industries. Imagine the efficiency, the speed, the cost savings that could be achieved by automating complex processes like this.
It sounds incredible, but also a little bit terrifying. What happens if one of those AI agents makes a mistake? Or what if the entire system gets hacked or goes rogue?
Those are valid concerns, and they highlight the critical need for robust safeguards and oversight mechanisms. As AI systems become more autonomous and interconnected, the potential for unintended consequences and unforeseen risks grows exponentially.
It's like we're opening Pandora's box.
That's right.
And we need to be incredibly careful about what we unleash.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to be having these conversations, to be asking tough questions, and to be proactively addressing the ethical, societal, and security implications of this rapidly advancing technology.
Well said. So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've explored the potential benefits and risks of AI, delved into Schmidt's concerns about AI rights and free speech, and examined the implications of China's recent AI surge. And we've just scratched the surface of this complex and rapidly evolving landscape.
It's a lot to digest, and I can understand if it feels overwhelming at times, but it's important to remember that we're not just passive observers in this AI revolution. We have a voice, we have choices, and we have the power to shape the future of this technology.
It's a great reminder, and it's something that we'll be exploring in more depth in the next part of our deep dive. But for now, I want to leave you with this question. If AI has the potential to both solve some of humanity's greatest challenges and pose significant threats, what role do WE as individuals play in ensuring that it's used for good not for harm.
It's a question worth pondering for sure, and it's one that we'll be continuing to explore as we continue our deep dive into the future of AI.
We've been talking about the potential of AI to solve huge problems, but also the risks that come with it. Feels like we're at a crossroads, trying to decide which path to take.
We are, and a key part of choosing the right path is acknowledging that. We can't just leave AI development to tech companies and governments. We need diverse voices at the table, ethicists, philosophers, artists, everyday people, to ensure AI aligns with our values.
I love that you brought up diverse voices, because Schmidt really emphasized that in his interview. He argues that a broader societal conversation is crucial to guide AI's development responsibly.
Absolutely. He's concerned about what could happen if we don't engage in open dialogue about AI's implications. Think about the potential for bias if AI systems are only developed by a small, homogenous group. We need different perspectives, different lived experiences to challenge assumptions and ensure AI benefits everyone.
Yeah, it's like AI is this incredibly powerful tool, and we can't just let a handful of people decide how it's used. We need a collective effort to steer it in a direction that benefits humanity as a whole.
Right. And it's not just about preventing harm. It's about actively shaping AI to make a positive impact. Think about the potential for AI to address climate change, reduce poverty, and improve healthcare access. But we need to be intentional about designing AI systems that are aligned with those goals.
So awareness is the first step, right? Recognizing that we have a role to play in shaping this technology, not just passively accepting whatever comes our way.
Exactly. And the next step is getting informed. Don't be afraid to dive into the complexities of AI, to learn about the different types of AI, the ethical challenges, and the potential solutions. There are tons of resources out there, articles, books, podcasts, online courses that can help you understand this rapidly evolving landscape.
Yeah, it's like learning a new language, right? It can feel intimidating at first. But once you start to grasp the basics, a whole new world opens up. And the more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to make informed decisions about its role in our lives.
And those decisions are becoming more important every day. AI is already impacting our lives in countless ways, from the algorithms that curate our social media feeds to the voice assistants that help us manage our daily tasks. And as AI becomes more sophisticated, those impacts are only going to grow.
Which brings us to this idea of agentic behavior that we talked about earlier. I'll admit it's still a bit mind-boggling to me.
I get it. It's a big conceptual leap to think about AI systems acting autonomously within interconnected networks. But let's unpack this further. Imagine a scenario where you tell an AI to design a sustainable city.
Okay, I'm picturing it. A city designed to be energy efficient, environmentally friendly, and responsive to the needs of its inhabitants.
Right. Now imagine that this AI agent can then independently coordinate with other specialized AI agents. One that manages traffic flow, another that optimizes energy consumption, and another that handles waste management. All of these agents working together, adapting to changing conditions, and learning from each other's actions to create a truly intelligent and self-sustaining urban ecosystem.
It sounds incredible, like something out of a futuristic movie, but also a little bit unnerving. Because if these AI agents are making decisions independently, how do we ensure that those decisions align with our values and priorities?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one that we need to address head-on. As AI systems become more sophisticated and interconnected, the need for robust oversight mechanisms and clear ethical guidelines becomes paramount. We need to define the boundaries, the rules of engagement for these AI agents to operate within.
So it's not just about designing AI systems that are technically brilliant. It's about ensuring that they're aligned with human values, that they're transparent and accountable, and that they're used in ways that benefit society as a whole.
Precisely. And that requires a multifaceted approach. We need to foster a culture of responsible AI development within tech companies, encourage open dialogue and collaboration between experts from different disciplines, and establish clear regulatory frameworks that prioritize human well-being.
It sounds like a massive undertaking, and I have to admit, it can feel overwhelming at times. But at the same time, I'm also feeling a sense of excitement. Because if we can get this right, if we can harness the power of AI in a responsible and ethical way, the potential for positive change is truly extraordinary.
I agree. And that's what makes this such a fascinating and pivotal moment in history. We're standing on the cusp of a technological revolution that has the power to reshape every aspect of our lives. And the choices that we make today will determine the course of that revolution.
Yeah, it's a heavy responsibility.
Yeah.
But also an incredible opportunity. And it's one that we can't afford to shy away from. So we've talked about the importance of awareness, education, and ethical guidelines.
Yeah.
But how do we translate those principles into concrete actions? What can we, as individuals, do to help steer AI in the right direction?
That's a great question, and it's one that we'll be exploring further in the final part of our deep dive. But for now, I want to leave you with this thought. Every interaction we have with AI, every choice we make about how we use this technology, contributes to shaping its future.
That's a powerful reminder. We're not just passive consumers of AI. We're active participants in its evolution. We've talked about the need for responsible AI development, diverse voices, and even touched on the mind-bending concept of agentic behavior. But it's time to get practical. How do we, as individuals, make a difference in shaping the future of AI?
It can feel overwhelming to think about influencing something as complex as AI. But remember, this technology is being built and implemented by people, and people are influenced by the demands and values of society.
So you're saying our collective actions, even as individuals,
Yeah.
can actually impact the direction of AI development.
Absolutely. Think about consumer choices. Every time you choose a product or service that prioritizes ethical AI principles, you're sending a signal to the market. Companies pay attention to what consumers want, and if there's a clear demand for AI that's transparent, fair, and accountable, they'll respond.
That's empowering. It means we're not powerless in this technological revolution. Our choices, our voices actually matter.
They do. And beyond consumer choices, staying informed and engaging in conversations about AI is crucial. Talk to your friends, family, and colleagues about the ethical implications of AI. Share articles, discuss documentaries, and bring these topics into everyday conversations. The more awareness we create, the more pressure we put on policymakers and tech leaders to prioritize responsible AI development.
It's like creating a ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
Starting with our own circles.
Yeah.
And gradually expanding outward to influence the broader societal conversation.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your voice. Write to your elected officials, express your concerns about AI bias, data privacy, or the potential misuse of this technology. Advocate for policies that promote transparency, accountability, and ethical AI development.
So it's about being informed consumers, engaging in thoughtful conversations, and using our voices to advocate for responsible AI policies. It's a multi-pronged approach. But it feels doable, especially when you consider the potential stakes.
It is. And don't forget the importance of supporting organizations and initiatives that are working to promote ethical AI. There are researchers, activists, and nonprofits dedicated to addressing the societal impacts of AI, developing ethical guidelines, and advocating for responsible AI governance. Your support, whether through donations, volunteering, or simply spreading awareness, can make a real difference.
It's like a collective effort, right? We all have a role to play.
Right.
And even small actions can contribute to a larger movement toward a future where AI is used to empower humanity, not control or harm it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And remember, this journey is just beginning. AI is a constantly evolving field, and the challenges we face will undoubtedly change over time. But by staying informed, engaged, and committed to ethical principles, we can help shape AI into a force for good in the world.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive into Eric Schmidt's insights on the future of AI, I'm left with a sense of cautious optimism. The challenges are real, the risks are significant, but the potential benefits are truly transformative. And the key takeaway for me is that we're not just along for the ride. We have the power and the responsibility to steer this technology towards a future that benefits all of humanity.
It's a future worth fighting for, and it's a future we can create together.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep advocating for a future where AI empowers us all. Until next time.